We have on the line with us, joining us virtually, political analyst Ifeanyi Umere. Good morning to you, Mr. Ifeanyi. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Can you hear us, Mr. Ifeanyi?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Thank you so much for having me.
All righty then. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's kickstart the conversation. First, with your assessment of the Osun election, and particularly as it had to do with the involvement of young people. How significant would you say was their participation in the whole process?
Thank you so much for having me. In normal circumstance, the youths are the energy of the society. They represent the strength of the society. That part was the noble part and the right part to take. You don't expect the aged to help you defend your votes or protect your political environment or political desire or will. So their participation eminently played a significant role in Osun and should also continue in that manner. As we appreciate that commitment, let us also appreciate the fact that a lot of them lost their lives during this process. I do not have the correct, should I say, statistics to distinguish between the young and the old in this number of deaths recorded. Premium Times reported it, 35 violence incidents, 18 deaths. Guardian had it, 29 deaths, 73 incidents. Vanguard capped it up 6 days to Osun election, 18 killed as fear mounts, fear of violence mounts. So if you go check the sacrifices, you will find out that the youths may be in majority in this state of casualty. So they pay the price. They should consistently amplify, increase the energy because they represent the strength. But it's unfortunate that in a mayor election where they ought to be like the catalyst that will generate the attention, maybe raise awareness, and their lives are being lost. So it's also discouraging. It will discourage them and then discourage their guardians, parents, and those who look up to them. Normally in Nigeria, you see a young boy trying to go out to fight for something, you find the mother dragging him back, please, oh, you are my only son. Oh. Why? Because we have a lot of respect for family, and family is everything. So nobody will, in his right senses, will want to see his family member killed in the process of defending the votes and being proactive and active youth in the system. Yes, we appreciate their sacrifice, and we want to say that since they are the energy, they ought to lead this movement very, very seriously. But look at the number of risks involved. Just oppose it with the state of the nation and the insecurity. So in as much as I encourage them, I appreciate the effort, they are also of the circumstances surrounding their participation.
All right. Very, very important points and a good foundation that you've laid for our conversation this morning. But there's this narrative where they say young Nigerians are politically active only online. They are only warriors when it comes to typing, from the comfort of their homes on their keypads. Do you think the Osun election challenged that narrative, that perception, and how were they able to achieve that?
It's not true. It is this same, should I say, primitive analysis. The same way the former president labeled Nigeria lazy. They have a way of making you looking superior. They have a way of making you looking active. They have a way of using grammar to demobilize you, to juxtapose you and quagmire you in the state of you only be an optical observer, and that is dangerous. It is not true. If you check the history of Nigeria from the time of Azikiwe to Enahoro, they were all young men. At which point did we become lazy? Go check our history. The same young minds saw you through independence. The same young minds fought for your independence. Go check the age of Zik, Enahoro, and Co. They were not in their 80s, they were not in their 60s, they were young men who provided leadership, who saw tomorrow, brought their ingenuity, brought their commitment, and led the country to, should I say, independence and slight prosperity until we found ourselves in this state. Why the narrative? Why? Because those who benefited from a civilized organization or setup, political setup, now became the lords in Abuja and everywhere. So they make you look ridiculous. They put fear in you. They have also created insecurity. The place is as insecure as you can imagine. So who will flourish? Nothing flourishes in an insecure environment. Not even the activists or those who you expect to lead the movement. So when you check the circumstances and also the fact that over the time their sacrifices had not produced the desired result. Why? When elections are done in the past, you find manipulation. You find manipulation. When they work so hard from the polling units, they come to the collusion center. It is doctored. INEC goes the same way by midnight. It's discouraging them. It makes them not as zealous as you expect them to be. So in as much as we're encouraging them, you must clear the environment. The table must be clean. Today, what happened in the shop is, remember it's an off-table election. Remember, it's isolated. And everybody knew, everybody was watching. When you go to 2027, when everywhere will be rowdy, I doubt whether the umpires and those who are in Abuja will be this clinical. With the number of deaths I've just laid down, that over 18 were killed in just a state. Multiply it times 30 or 36. So you'll be expecting over 100 Nigerians to be slaughtered for election if you use this arithmetic to check. How do we stop it? Desperation. The youths are ready to sacrifice, but the desperation of the politicians and the manipulation and the involvement of the security agencies and the umpire is dangerous and discouraging.
And in fact, based off of that analysis and the fact that you've identified that young people were mostly on the receiving end, they were major victims of some of the pre-election violence that we saw in Osun. The question would be, what has given rise to that? Is it a function of the kind of politics that is being encouraged by the political actors? Is it a function of an uninformed youth populace, or perhaps a function of failed institutions? Where exactly did it get to the point where young people are now being seen as tools, during campaign and politicking season?
Hunger. Lay the foundation with hunger. When there is hunger in the land, add the flavor of desperation, add the flavor of ignorance, and add the flavor of bad leadership, and then cap it up with bad orientation. Let's start with the hunger. The same politicians that use you make sure that you're hungry, making you very vulnerable at every slight proposition. You go after the same people that are your brothers in the same neighborhood, because some politicians flew from Abuja with some little money they stole from you, made you hungry. At that point, they give it to you, and you unleash terror on your brothers and sisters. Failed leadership. It is because the leadership in Nigeria has consistently provided bad leadership that the indices of measuring who takes over is laden with rascality, thuggery, and inducement. It is not about competence again. Can you imagine the likes of Davido, for example, calling on Trump? That's ridiculous, because the local institutions have failed you. You're finding solace elsewhere. The man you're calling Trump to come and help you, people sacrifice their lives in the US to make it better. Why? They trusted and built big, reliable institutions. Nothing. Here we are building individuals and killing institutions. Orientation. There is this orientation that the youths of Nigeria are, should I say, tools of violence. And they have consistently, go check out those arrested, those involved. The bracket is the same youth. So you are living under the phobia that you are not capable of leading. You're only capable of being used. That's why they come for you. You don't find that elsewhere. Civilized countries don't do that. Where they have good economy, they don't make themselves vulnerable. But because they have kept you hungry and they have bad policies, they use the state against you. Look at the number of policemen mobilized to come to Osun. All the governors that congregated, what are you doing in Osun with all the resources? Even the electoral law forbids it. What are you doing on election day, roaming around the neighborhood that is not yours, just to intimidate? So the Nigerian youths have found themselves in a state of, I don't know how to explain it. They are living dangerously under bad leadership. So if you repair the economy, rejig the systems, reduce this quest, this desperation, and then on the electoral umpire, something happened on that day. As we were voting, the voting was going on. We had, when the results were being collected, there was this stoppage and there was this outrage. Suspicion and fear is also part of the game. They put fear in you, they subjugate you, they intimidate you, they bring funds to garnish you. You saw videos of governors from different states threatening a sitting governor with dogs because the system permits that. Those people should be in jail or should be tried by now. And then to cap it up, sir, all those who died in Osun, have you heard about any state reports? Have you heard about any inquiry? So those ones are the ones who were sacrificed for Osun. How do you build a nation like this?
Now, let's also begin to look at how youth participation can impact what's going to happen in 2027. During the last elections, we had over 37 million registered youth voters, those who are aged between 18 and 34. And in the just concluded continuous voter registration exercise, in fact, young people account for the highest number of new voters. We have about over 2 million of them who are new voters who have now registered, those who are aged 18 to 34. Now, ahead of 2027, how critical is youth participation? Do you think on the strength of the youth numbers alone, I'm not talking about the middle-aged and people in other categories, do you think numbers of young eligible voters in Nigeria alone can decide, particularly the presidential elections in 2027?
Yes, sure, it can. Capital, yes. And then do you know why the increase? Because of the orientation, because of the situation of the country. The young people who were docile and lackadaisical in the past have come to regain their consciousness. I told you hunger is, when I mentioned this hunger, people are hungry, people are insecure. They have now come to the realization that they need to make impact. That's why the increase. But whether that increase will metamorphose or translate to electoral victory, that will be determined when we get close to election. Being registered is not enough. You need to get your voter's card. You need to come to the polling units, cast your vote, protect it. It's a series. Yes, I agree that the statistics favor that they will make impact with the number. But how do you now translate the awareness into the fact that you need to vote, protect it, follow it up, and then tap it up with the insecurity? So we need to rejig the consciousness of the youth to say, let's take the risk. I've always told you on this platform that there has to be a major shake. Maybe we're moving towards that. If the Nigerian youth deploy the energy we saw in our show, where I saw boys on bike following electoral officers on the car, challenging them, asking them to move, that's the level of ruggedity that we require now. And it is the youth that will provide it. So this statistic is very important. The increase is marvelous, most marvelous, yes, but let them translate it. Having a good car is different from being a good driver. Being a good chef is different from having the condiments to prepare it. You may be a good chef, your environment does not provide you the auspices. What do? You do work. So we need to push them further. We need to take back the country.
All right.
All the countries you see in the world that are developed, the young people engineered the revolution. The aged can do it for you. Some of them enjoy the best of Nigeria, so they don't mind. Some of these leaders now had free education. They don't mind what you're going through.
Mr. Ifeanyi, one of the major issues that dominated the headlines in the Osun election was the issue of vote buying. And I mean, in your analysis, you had said that, hunger plays a major factor in some of what we're going to see play out.
It does.
How do you think the issue of vote buying should be addressed, particularly as it has to do with young people? In fact, there was a situation, I don't know if you saw some of those videos, where we saw young people and residents of Osun saying they had collected the money of a particular political party, but still went ahead to vote who they wanted. Is that a course of action you would recommend for young people if the issue of vote buying becomes a major issue going into 2027?
Now, that's a civil action. Very noble, very patriotic. Civil and patriotic action. Collect the money, do what you want to do. But what of the agencies?
Even though it's a criminal act, it goes against what the Electoral Act stipulates.
I'm coming to the second part. I said there is nothing wrong if they go with the slogan of collecting the money and doing the right thing. But I said, what of the agency saddled with the responsibility of tackling and prosecuting those buying votes and those receiving? They were all there. Have you ever had today? Show me one person serving a prison term in Kuje. You're in Abuja from vote buying or selling. Please, I challenge you. Find anybody, even awaiting trial. So you now go back to the fair institution. All the EFCC, all the agencies are all colluding. You see them with their red jackets doing media razzmatazz, trying to impress you. Who is in Kuje? I'm calling you from Abia State, close to Afara prison. Nobody here, neither awaiting trial or any court. Why? Have you not been seeing vote buying from Lagos to everywhere? Why are you not worried? You're asking me about those collecting. Why not you interrogate those whose job is to prosecute?
But what about rejecting? Another alternative would be rejecting some of those monies.
You're not sounding Nigerian. You're not sounding Nigerian. Every hungry Nigerian will collect the money. You know, it takes the other side of you to do the right thing. I mean, you're sounding like you're from Bermuda Triangle. Every Nigerian, all of them, including the clergy, all of them, if you collect and then do the right thing, you can be seen to be patriotic. Maybe
Mr. Ifeanyi, it's worrying because if every time a politician wants to win an election, he has to cajole, he has to offer gifts, incentives, and money to the elect. For how long are we going to walk that path?
And I've told you that they have laid a foundation of hunger. So they will follow this trajectory until you're free. Do you see people campaigning with rice and everything in the US or in other civilized countries? They've come past that. They don't even do it. If you do it, they will deal with you seriously. Because they're not hungry. Even if they're hungry, the hunger is with dignity, with hope. Here, you are hopelessly hungry. Everything that comes around you, take it. That's the truth. So unless you emancipate yourself from bad leadership, provide good governance, people are not stable, they can take rational decisions. Those who are stealing from you massively, what are they stealing from you for? They are stealing because they know they need to quagmire you in a state of hunger so they can lobby you small. Did you see our show? So many little cups of rice. Is it not shameful? I saw a priest I saw a priest, a Catholic priest, come make a video that they brought a bag of rice for him to be part of the renewed hope agenda or whatever. And if they can go that route, why? They anticipate that you're hungry, or else it would have been good policy, good governance, and what you have done. But they keep going the way, going to your stomach. A priest, the video is there for you to see. Why? They target your stomach, they make it drowsy, they make it down. So when they come for election, they tickle it. And because hunger is a dangerous phenomenon, my brother, it is difficult to resist it.
Well, finally, Osun was the last major hurdle for INEC before 2027. From what you have seen, because you've been an advocate for Nigerians and for Nigerian youths to wake up, for people to take more responsibility and demand more accountability on the part of INEC, on the part of the civil society, on the part of Nigerians, and particularly young people. Do you think we're ready for 2027?
Two-sided question, two-sided answer. First, let's go to INEC. This disposition by INEC may be cosmetic, may be deceptive to make us go. Yoruba say is go, let you go to sleep. But if this is a new INEC, it may be a product of our consistent agitation. I said it's a double thing. This may be cosmetic to let us go to sleep and relax, and they go to the midnight surgery again. But if this is a new INEC, that what occurred must reflect in the system where people can monitor, good one. Then for the people, you must up your game. Osun has given you an example. You must be resistant to any manipulation. Those INEC people are Nigerians. They are also hungry. The coppers coming to preside are Nigerians. Do the right thing, protect the vote of the people, restore integrity, get leaders that will do what you want them to do for you, not those who will lobby with rice and spaghetti and all that. Good policies, good direction must come from good leaders. But unfortunately, you now talk about the security agencies. When the 2027 will come, everywhere will be rowdy. You may not, yes now. And in that state of rowdiness, a lot will happen. Here we are optically very visible. It was a one-state thing. Everybody zoomed in.
Osun was rowdy. They found a way to control it.
No, they can't control the entire state when the next election comes. Even the media can't do that. It's difficult for your outlet to bring a reporter in my unit in Ozaba. So you will rely on either the correspondence or what you hear. So but we need to deepen. And the media needs to come in now. And I want to call out your constituency, your family. What you did in Osun was marvelous. You guys were tremendously marvelous. I commend your station. I commend your management. I fell in love with you guys more. I was following you guys. But other people need to do the same thing. Put your searchlight everywhere. It's expensive. Zooming on them everywhere. They will run away. We are bigger than them. So I wish there'll be budgetary provision for the private media, because if you rely on the state media, what you hear will give you ghost pimple. Yes, we need to encourage the media to give us the blast. You guys were marvelous. You guys, they couldn't run away from the clips. A senator telling people, whether in Yoruba or whatever, how he coined it. That tells you their state of mind. They are charging you, because that's what they think you can do. That's what they think you're supposed to do. And that's how they rate you. Or else, if you do that anywhere civilized, those you're talking to will mob you. But because you're in a state of complicated hunger and economic starvation, and you're politically naive, and the orientation is very poor, you look at the senator in a docile way and smile, and maybe clap. Very unfortunately.
All righty then. Thank you very much, Mr. Ifeanyi Umere. Thank you for the vote of confidence and the commendation. And then thank you so much for your time with us on the program this morning.
That commendation is unapologetically rendered, because you guys were marvelous. I commend all of you, including Mommy Gio, all of you. May God bless you guys.
You must find a way to bring me in, even when I leave you, so you go.
Thank you for receiving the blessing.
Thank you,
Blessing time.
Ifeanyi.
That's what
Thank
you
you
see
so
from
much.
videos when the offering is coming.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ifeanyi. We
Thank you,
appreciate
thank
your
you.
time always on
Thank
the
you.
Thank you. I
program.
appreciate.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate. Thank
Thank
you.
you.